Hi, welcome to Move. My name is Simon. Today we're going to be working on the basics of meditation. So, let's get started. For this session, we're going to work on a static meditation, working towards a static meditation. Many people have the concept that to do meditation, you have to sit cross-legged or in some fancy position on the floor. And I'd like to get you to dispel that myth straight away. My belief is that you should not sit cross-legged for extended periods of time for things such as meditation, unless, for example, you could get the legs comfortably into a cross-legged position as easily as you cross our arms. For example, we cross our arms like this. It's easy, it doesn't require external forces. My suggestion is, unless your legs could easily come into, for example, the lotus position, the way I've done then, don't sit cross-legged on the floor for long periods of meditation. Another way of putting it is, if you're sitting cross-legged, generally, the knees for most adults will be above the top of the hips if you sit on the floor. In this case then, the blood will go down, it can't run back up, so your circulation will be poor, and you'll find that the legs will get numb. If your legs get numb, then there's no decent blood circulation, and this will just not be healthy for you after a while. So one way of judging it is, when you stand up, if you lift up one leg, how close could it come to a cross-legged position? My suggestion is, can you bring your knee to the same height as your groin while bringing the heel the same height as your knee? For most people, the answer is no. So in that case, I would suggest you don't sit cross-legged, but rather you do two easiest options. Would be one, to sit on a standard chair where you've got your back away from the chair, or two, to stand and do the meditation standing, perhaps with your knees slightly unlocked and your hands resting by the side like this. And this is quite acceptable to do a meditation like this. A third alternative will be to sit on some sort of raised support, such as a bolster. So this is only a fairly low bolster. It's okay to have an even higher one, in which case you can sit like this. And if you sit close to the edge, as I am here, you'll see I'm able to have my knee just slightly below the hip, which means that the blood can come and run down. If the knee is higher than the hip, that's going to be not so good, either for blood flow or for your back or for your hips and knees. So at least, if you're not very flexible, sit on a support like this, or sit on a chair. There's nothing shameful about sitting on a chair for meditation, I always say. When we're sitting, I'm going to sit like this. So if you are ready to do so now, sit on a chair or on a bolster, or if you're flexible enough, on the floor, and find a comfortable position. My suggestion is to sit with your wrists touching your knees and prepare to bring yourself to approach a meditative state by creating length and relaxation. I think a common myth in yoga is that meditation is a state where you're just not thinking, not stretching, not tensing muscles, not breathing much. But an important point that's missing is that the meditating yogi on Mount Everest, for example, is doing one extra thing, and that is they're generating heat to the point that they can actually melt the snow around them. So to really know you're getting good meditation, you want to feel warm in a cold room. And that will come if you enhance length and relaxation through the body. So I'll ask you to lengthen your body in all directions while relaxing key points. So sit up straight. I'm going to show you two different angles of what I'm doing. This front position, but I'm going to start by showing you the side position. So while you're sitting, you need to have enough heat that you can avoid lifting the tailbone up and moving the top of the hips forward. So the more you lift your tailbone, the more you'll feel that your chest opens, but your lower back compresses and the front of the hips compress. This is not a good way to be. This will also hurt your knees. So my suggestion is, move the top of the hips backward and push the tailbone downwards. That will lengthen the lower back, and it reduces the stress on the hips and the knees. Keep your lower front ribs inwards, and although that will feel like you're closing the chest, the upper back and the spine becomes lengthened. So now I'll sit facing you. My suggestion is for the first part of this meditation, keep your eyes open so you see what I'm demonstrating. Begin with your wrists, touching your knees if possible, and your palms open. Then from that position, adjust your feet so they're comfortable. If you need to, you put some support under your ankles. You can either have the sides of the foot on the floor, or the top of the foot on the floor, or the top of the foot or the sides. Then ensure that the knee is slightly lower than the groin. Move the top of the hips back to lengthen the lower back. Push the sitting bones down to lengthen your spine. Move your lower front ribs inwards, and then lift the upper back. Bring the head slightly down, the neck slightly back, and relax your jaw. Then open the palms. Now let's focus first on length, then on relaxation. So the length you're trying to create will be primarily in the front and back of the trunk, and then all the way from the neck to the shoulders to elbows, wrists, and fingers. So let's start first from the spine, from behind. Push your sitting bones down. You keep your wrists as they are. I'll point to different places. Make the sitting bones, the ischial tuberosities, push down in toward the floor. Push the tailbone down as well. Then move the top of the hips back, and you'll feel the lower back lengthen. Move your lower front ribs backwards and lift the upper back. Then bring your head down and the neck slightly back, and you lengthen the back of the neck. Now, imagine a string is attached to the crown of your head, and it's pulling the crown of the head upwards. While imagine something is grabbing your tailbone and pulling it downwards. Now, this length has now to be matched with relaxation. So relax fully around the pelvic floor, your abdomen, and your throat. Now, having lengthened the back of the body, which we'll come back to, stay as still as you can, and relax and lengthen the front of your body. So to help lengthen the front of the body, without moving the top of the hips forward, push your pubic bone down. So the bottom of the pubic bone pushes down, and now the top of the pubic bone, move it slightly forward. Then make the abdomen expand. Now, when you let your abdomen expand, like I'm doing with mine now, it will tend to round out slightly. And for many people, this doesn't look right. But you have to remember, Buddha wasn't fat, he was relaxed. And the key to meditation is relaxation. So let the abdomen relax like a baby's belly. And then, keeping the lower front ribs inwards, lift the collarbone. And then from there, again, check that although the back of the neck is lengthened, the front of the throat is slightly lengthened as well. So you move your throat forward, the chin up slightly, and then again bring the head down, the neck back slightly, and continue lengthening front, then back of the neck. And relax the face fully. Now we've lengthened the back and the front of the spine, I'd like you to lengthen the arms as well. So sense that from the outside of the shoulders, the base of the neck, the outside of the shoulders lengthen. And notice I'm lifting my elbow slightly to come all the way to the elbow. Keep your elbows slightly bent because energy travels better in curves than going through straight lines and then zigzags. So make a bit of a curve in the arm. Then feel the length go from shoulder to neck, shoulder to elbow, elbow to wrist, open the palm and lengthen from the wrists all the way to each fingertip. Check your fingertips are lengthened, but check they can still move freely. Freedom is important. Even the spine, you're lengthening it, but you're sensing that it's very soft and mobile. So with both palms, feel they're open, lengthened, which is what's going to promote blood flow and heat to the body, but they're relaxed enough to move. And every once in a while you can check, are your fingers lengthened? Can the tips just move a little bit like mine are now? And if not, they're either too hard and straight, which is not good, or too soft and flaccid, which is no good. So make the fingers lengthened but relaxed enough that they could easily move like the fronds of a sea anemone. Take your elbows wider. So now, in terms of creating length, can you create greater length between your elbows? So from one elbow to the next, bring the elbows wider. Can you make the shoulders go wider? Can you make the palm more open and the fingertips more lengthened? For every time you lengthen, relax. The key places to relax will be your pelvic floor, your abdomen, your neck, and your face. We can go into specific detail of those parts, but for the moment, keep remembering, relax the pelvic floor, relax your abdomen like a baby's belly, relax your neck, and relax your face. Lengthen again. From behind the body, push the sitting bones down, move the top of the hips back, lengthen the lower back, move the lower front ribs back, lift, round out and lift and lengthen the upper back, and then bring the head down, the neck back slightly, and lift the crown of the head higher. From the front of the body, move the base of the pubic bone down, the top of the pubic bone forward, let the belly expand like a baby's belly, and then keeping the lower front ribs in, lift the collarbone and sense the top of the chest opens without tension or without any hardness in the abdomen. Then move your throat slightly forward and the chin slightly up without shortening the back of the neck. Relax your throat, relax your jaw, your lips, and your eyes. Then create length from the shoulders all the way to the elbows, from the neck down to the base of the shoulders, from the shoulders to the elbows, from the elbows all the way down to the wrists, and from the wrists to the fingers. So see if you can feel length going all the way on the outside of the body to the tips of the fingers. Now see if you can create length on the inside of the upper arm. See if you can make the chest slightly wider, greater space from the armpits to each other, greater space from the elbows, so space between the elbows, space between the wrists, and so you've got the skin on the inside of the arms also lengthening. And then once you feel that length, again, go to relax the key parts of the body, the pelvic floor, the abdomen, the neck, and the face. Specifically, relax the places which have dual control, where the control is via the conscious mind and via the unconscious mind. There's 12 places in the body like this. This is the way to access your subconscious or your unconscious. Relax the front of the pelvic floor, which is your urethra. It's that feeling of as if about to go to the toilet, but not. I know it sounds a bit funny, but try and relax a little bit the front of the pelvic floor, near the urethra. Secondly, relax the genitals. It's almost like it feels like you could breathe into the genitals. Again, it sounds a bit funny, but this is an important part of the body to come in touch with. Thirdly, the region around the anus. See if you can relax around your anus as if about to go to the toilet, but not, and just let that part expand. Often, the whole anal region and genital region is held very tense in most modern adults, hence this retentive idea that most people talk about. So relax around the anal mouth, then push the sitting bones down and feel like your sitting bones are just dropping down, like someone just told you just to sit and wait. Then from that position, relax your belly, let it gently bloatate like a baby's belly. This allows freedom to the diaphragm. The diaphragm is one of the most important muscles of the body, one that you can control consciously by breathing into the abdomen, and one which controls itself most of the day. In fact, the ability to get into that state where the diaphragm just starts to work freely and uninhibited is what you get when you're asleep, which is why you must never inhibit the diaphragm if you want your exercise, your yoga, or your meditation to be nourishing. Never inhibit the diaphragm. When the diaphragm becomes inhibited and you can't naturally breathe low, that usually means that you've entered a state of flight or fight. Then it's important to sense that from the shoulders to the fingers, you've got length but freedom, And the neck, although lengthened, is free to move. And often yoga and meditation are associated with India, and you see many Indian people will freely move their neck. Neck is always free. Next, just make sure that you can create saliva. So every once in a while, as a preparation to meditation, chew a little bit, make some saliva, and swallow it. If your mouth is dry, you're not going to be able to meditate. Then move your jaw a little bit. Many nerves are in the jaw, and if the jaw is tense, you won't be able to meditate. Then move your lips a little bit. Just check the lips are not tense. By moving just a little bit, that will help you relax more. Then blink a few times, just gentle half blinks. If the eyes are tense, meditation is not possible. Then let the eyes look up and down, look to your right and to your left, and make your eyes rotate in a circle clockwise and a circle anti-clockwise, and then just close the eyes. And now with your eyes closed, once again, spend a few moments to lengthen and relax. Drop your sitting bones down, move the top of the hips back, lengthen the lower back, ribs back, lift the upper back. Move the head down, neck back, and lengthen the back of the neck. Lift the crown of the head higher and tailbone lower. Having lengthened the back of the body, lengthen the front. Pubic bone down, allow the abdomen to relax and expand. Keep the ribs in at the base, but lift the collarbone and allow the chest to naturally expand. Very slightly move your throat forward, chin up. And without shortening the back of the neck, lengthen the front. Move your shoulders apart, relax your throat. Lengthen from shoulders to elbows to wrists to fingers. Relax the pelvic floor as if about to go to the toilet but not. Drop the hips. Relax the abdomen. Check the fingers are lengthened but soft. Neck lengthened but soft. Feel the saliva could easily come and you could easily swallow. Check your jaw is free, lips free, eyes could easily half blink, inner eyes can roll up. Now fully relax, lengthen and relax, and stay here for as long as you comfortably wish. Peaceful, calm and quiet in body, breath and mind. Keeping the back of the body lengthened. Lengthen the back of the body. Expand the front of the body. Anchor the tailbone and gently release the spine by moving the body forward. Bring the head down. Anchor the tailbone and move the navel forward and up. Then relax. Thank you very much.